What's up, guys? Before we jump into it, just want to let you know that there's a flash 30% off discount with code ESPRESSO over at gfuel.com. With new releases like Sour Faceberry and cans like Sour Blue Chug Rug out, if you're interested, now's as good a time as any to check them out. Links in the description below, but anyways, let's get back to the content at hand. We're at that point now in Season 4 where we can start to anticipate the mid-season update already, which kind of seems a little strange, but while it's not confirmed, the logical location on the calendar for where we'll see this update is actually just over a week's time away. Not this upcoming Tuesday, but likely the next one after that, so it's honestly not that far off at all. Since the launch of Season 4, there's been a fair share of unintended bugs and other things that need to be changed out in Modern Warfare and Warzone, and likely will be. So today we're going to be running down the 23 changes likely to come within that mid-season update, and what we'll see with our next title update overall. Some of these things we'll discuss today have a bit more weight in their implications for the game. Some stuff you may just never have even known were an issue, but will be fixed out, and I want to keep you in the loop with all of it. That said, let me know your thoughts down below. What are you hoping to see in Modern Warfare and Warzone fixed out in the next update? As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone on a daily basis. But anyways, let's jump into it. Let's first break this off into some categorization here with this. So let's talk firstly about the big ticket items and things that have been mentioned by developers themselves, then work our way down to the more technical stuff, starting with MP and then working our way over into Warzone from the trailer board that is kept up by Infinity Ward themselves. Perhaps the biggest part, though, to come out of this next update will be, in my mind, the weapon rebalancing. And we don't know to what extent, but Joe Secot confirmed that there will be weapon balancing passes coming in the mid-season update, presumably including the main meta weapon of the Grau 5.56 that everyone and their grandmother uses in both MP and in Warzone, but it's a much more meta weapon in Warzone. Every so often, though, we'll see a larger tuning pass that includes anywhere from a half dozen to a dozen weapons included in that tuning pass, and while we don't know much of the weapons outside of the Grau, again, it's presumed that it's going to be, since this was mentioned by Joe Secot in relation to a mention of the Grau. I'd also wager that this is the most likely candidate to have the most work done to it. If I were to guess, I'd say it would knock it down a few pegs by adjusting the recoil, the damage range, and perhaps the handling, making it less of a laser pointer of a weapon and something that can still be viable, but not a weapon that you'll get accused of using mods for because it's so accurate and has such little recoil. Regardless, to me, I think that's one of the biggest things here coming out of the mid-season update, outside of just new content being added in, like a new weapon, like a new map, and whatever may be held in some secret changes that we aren't yet aware of. Additionally, Joe Secot also mentioned that outside of weapon tuning, we'll see a realism tab in the quick play selection that you can cycle through like your core, your hardcore, and your CDL playlist, but for all those realism playlists. So for those of you guys that are really big into realism, that's gonna be something that's gonna be coming as a stable constant to Modern Warfare as well, which is definitely a nice thing, I think. Next now, though, we're gonna move over into, again, some of the Trello board stuff, things that have been on technical changes that have been detailed, some big, some small, some stuff you probably didn't even realize was an issue. But to start out with the MP side of things here. Firstly, it says there's going to be a fix for the invisible collision area on Promenade, which if you've played Promenade at all, you may know where this is, you may not, but if you're coming from the AB side of the ground war map and you're looking towards that C courtyard, that left side street where there's a truck, some barricades, and it's usually one of the more overall campy spots of that, well, there's actually a part of that where on that wall there is literally no hit reg at all. Whether or not it's a geo clipping error, whether it's something else entirely, it's just been something that's catching players off since the launch of the map here with Season 4's launch. But that's something that said is going to be fixed out by the update here, and it's a big one because I know that it's probably thrown you for a trip, it's thrown me for a trip, and I know that I've wasted too many of mags trying to shoot at somebody there where the bullets just don't hit. Another big one that is in the likely category here, and I wanted to mention, talking about stuff since Season 4's update, is one that admittedly I'm not too familiar with. I've seen this commented a bunch of times either on my Twitter and also on the videos here on the channel, but an issue that I cannot imagine has gone under the radar because it seems like it's a more widespread problem than just something that pops up randomly is Battle Pass progression and XP not tracking properly, where players will go in, play matches, put time in, but everything they do for that doesn't help out their rank or their Battle Pass, and that's obviously a really big problem, especially if players bought into that Battle Pass. So that's something that I would imagine is fixed out here with this, but is also something that I wanted to kind of throw in the mix here as one of the bigger ticket items at the front end of this video. From here, we can kind of speedball these because there's a lot of stuff that isn't really all that much outside of just being self-explanatory, but we end up seeing that camos are not appearing on the AX50 properly. Then we see the precision airstrike has a bug, which has come back. It's both in MP and in Warzone, where players will have the streak available, but they actually can't call it in. Whenever they go and hit that on their D-pad to bring up the binoculars to call in the airstrike, it just tells you the streak's not available. So that's something that's been around before, was fixed out before, but seemingly needs another pass here as it's crept back up as another issue. As of the Season 4 update, there was a plethora of screen tearing issues that players had encountered. That is something that should be fixed out here at the next title update as well. The Milsim skin of the CTSFO gloves, those have actually been fixed out because it's not something you or I may have ever caught, but it's a difference in game as to what the gloves showcase in matches and what is actually in that preview character selection menu. So that's something that's been fixed out and we'll see changed out with the next title update. There seems like there's going to be a second pass through on the nuke 30+ streak not granting a nuke. Beforehand, it was resolved because there was an issue with blueprint weapons actually, where if you used a blueprint weapon and altered it in any way, shape, or form, you wouldn't be able to get that 30 kill streak or credited for the 30 kill streak for the nuke. I've seen this pop up in rare occasions since that fix, so I don't know if it's something that it's still that same exact issue that needs to be worked out once again, just kind of ironed out one final time, or if it's another variation of that. But players that get 30 kill streaks aren't actually being rewarded that nuke, and that's a big one since, of course, 30 kill streak is something that's harder to obtain and is definitely something you want to celebrate once you get it. Then there's also going to be a fix for when the M4A1 would perform an AR magazine reload. If you had a 50-round magazine equipped with an underbarrel as well, if you went to reload that underbarrel, it would then try to reload the entire magazine, not the underbarrel. So there's a fix coming for that. Again, one of the more things that is kind of tucked away that requires so many certain variables, you probably never experienced this yourself. There's going to be a fix for whenever you have flaming throwing knives and you run over a regular throwing knife. That issue was that it wouldn't restock it because it didn't register as the same, even though they're just cosmetic differences. There's a fix coming for that one. There's a fix coming for the white-eyed Price, where he doesn't have any eyes whatsoever, and it's kind of bugged out there, so that's something coming in the next update. There's going to be a full fix for the out-of-map spawns on Scrapyard. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a slight adjustment here to this that made sure that you didn't spawn out of the map, at least as much as people were whenever it first dropped with Season 4's update. I think that hotfix went out about a day or two after the launch of Season 4, but there's going to be another update here that adjusts the spawns in that regard, that you don't spawn there at all. There's going to be a fix for demolition overtime being reworked so that it works as intended once that's back into the mix of things. Then there's going to be a fix for dead lobbies, in which players are put into matches where it just doesn't either start, or it's something where they're stuck spectating, but they just do everything except play the game. And that's something that's been kind of going around again since Season 4 in a much higher quantity, but is something you may not have experienced for yourself. I know that I haven't, but I've seen plenty of clips of players experiencing this for themselves. As for a hopeful fix that I really do want to see come here with this, and this kind of is a transition over into both MP and into Warzone, is the current Riot Shield bug. Right now, players actually can be shot through the Riot Shield as if the Riot Shield actually isn't even in front of them. And in some cases, if you watch the kill cams, it's actually not on the other player's screen. So basically, like, the Riot Shield is just non-existent. It doesn't do anything for you. Hopefully that's fixed out, because obviously that's the main point of having a Riot Shield, is to block stuff. As for Warzone changes, though, there's going to be changes to the weapon icons that are currently incorrect with drop loot. And right now, I think it's actually pretty bad. I think there's more incorrect icons on the ground than I see that are actually normal and what is actually the accurate icon. So those will be fixed out with the mid-season update. There's, I'm assuming, going to be a fix for the new wave of black corruption screens that envelop the map as the player sees just this black horizon come towards them when they're playing. And that's something that, while I haven't seen personally, is an obvious big visual bug that is a big problem. Next, I'd imagine also we see some retexturing of the Warzone map, and the one that really gets me is over by Dam. There's a couple of them, the first and biggest one probably being that air quote submarine underneath the frozen dam. That's actually a result of texture glitches. Also, there's another one on that east wall cliffside of Geo at Dam, where there's actually a massive black spot where it's like a giant explosion went off and it's all just burnt and charred, but it's just a texture bug where it isn't what should be there. Additionally, there are going to be some fixes for the gulag respawns. In rare instances, players will spawn under the map after spawning back into the world, as opposed to dropping in above it. Also, a fix is coming for some of those players that do not appear in the Warzone exfil sequence after a win. There's going to be some audio adjustments for the supply choppers in Battle Royale. And talking about the supply choppers a little bit, there's rare instances of the supply chopper actually coming in from underneath the map as opposed to from the sides, in which it it will then kill a player on the ground while it comes up through that geo. So of course, that's some stuff that needs fixed out. One big hopeful change though that isn't anything that's technical or anything like that, but I really just hope to see for my own selfish purposes, because I really want to progress here in this, is something to do with the Easter egg progression. Like we talked about, there is that new bunker in bunker 10, I believe, in which it's all textured, it's all live with ground spawns and chest spawns and all, but we just can't get into there yet. And the red access cards were actually something that removed within season 4 as well. So even the regular bunkers you can't get into. That's something that I really do hope gets fixed out here and we get something progressing this, because I really want to know what's going on in Verdansk, man. I know maybe not as many of you guys care about the storyline and the backstory of what's going on as much as me, but I really want to see what's up there. That's a really cool Easter egg that's been progressively updating here, and I'd like to see another step to it. But anyways, that is where we're at here. That is the 23 changes that are likely coming within the next update of Title Update 1.23, and I would imagine comes not this upcoming Tuesday or Wednesday, but instead the week following. So that's stuff you can look forward to, but I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this year? Are you looking forward to any of these changes? Do you think that there should be something that maybe we didn't cover or hasn't been addressed? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff we get you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with my side of YouTube. Probably live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, that's it out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.